Should you wear Goku's weighted clothes? This is from Because Science, a Nerdist affiliate, minus Chris Hardwick, which makes me happy because I always hated that guy. I used to love the Nerdist podcast. I would listen to it every fucking day in my truck doing pest control. And then I figured out Chris Hardwick was the dude from the Nerdist, and I hated it. And then it came out that he was a bad person to a woman. And I was like, good for that guy. Fucking hate that guy. Anyways, totally besides the point. Man, my hate for him is real. I didn't even know it until just now, but it's completely unrelated. Now, weighted clothes is a very popular thing. Anybody who's worked out a lot has seen it advertised. Anybody who plays football has probably seen weighted vests. Anybody who's played basketball has probably worn weighted ankles. There's plenty of weighted things that are available actually to buy. And for me, Goku's weighted clothes made the most sense. It was like a super dense fiber in like handcuffs and like socks, you know, leg warmers that were super fucking heavy, and they hugged to your body without slipping around, and you know, just made every day a little bit harder to do. And when you take them off, you feel light as a feather. I always thought it was a really cool idea. Let's see if the science makes sense, because my dude brain is like, fuck yeah. But my dude brain also wanted super strength. It also wanted super speed. Yeah, so we're ruining these things one at a time. So let's see what happens.
Should you be wearing weighted clothes like Goku?
Should you?
The warriors of Dragon Ball Z are famous for their intense training.
He didn't introduce himself. This is Kyle Hill. The dude's fucking great.
So Dragon Ball Z are famous for their intense training tools. Some of their spaceships are outfitted with gravity multipliers. When the pull of a planet simply isn't enough gas for them gains, they slow down time itself with hyperbolic chambers when there simply aren't enough days before a big beatdown. But maybe the most famous DBZ training tool is a simple one. If you wanted to get souped up like Goku, should you wear weighted clothes?
I'm saying though, it sounds like it makes sense. Okay, look, okay, I'll give you this. It might be bad for your joints, okay? It might be bad for like rashes. You might get like a rash thing going. I don't know why. Look, I'm just spitballing. But like it seems like for muscle development, it would work, is what I'm saying. It seems like it would work.
Weighted clothing made its debut all the way back in the 80s in the original Dragon Ball manga and anime. The clothes are as basic as boots, wristbands, headgear, and t-shirts, weighing many kilograms that are worn all day and act to increase a user's effective weight while training. Removing these weighted clothes can also instantly boost the power levels of a user. You can go to the nearest sports store and pick up more or less the same equipment right now, but will it give you strength and speed gains like Goku? First of all, how massive are Goku's weighted clothes? Well, the best example that we can put numbers to is in episode 140 of Dragon Ball when Goku is fighting Tien.
Yes.
Needing an extra burst of speed, Goku starts removing his weighted clothes. 2 boots, each weighing 20 kilograms, a heavy t-shirt, and then 2 wristbands. Yamcha, picking up the wristbands and the shirt, says that he is holding at least 100 kilos, which brings the grand total for all of Goku's clothing to at least 140 kilograms, over 300 pounds.
Okay,
get that crap out of here. Krillin wants you here. If Goku was looking to increase his power level through simulating high gravity, then his clothes would be doing a really good job. Canonically, Goku is less massive than I am, even though he is ripped out of his mind from head to tippy toe. But hey, canon is canon. So if you added another 100 kilograms onto his mass, he would weigh as much as he would on the surface of Jupiter, laboring under an oppressive 2.5 G's.
Jesus Lord.
It is cold out here. It's like I'm in a freezer.
I like that joke though.
You could go to a sports store right now and buy 140 kilograms worth of weighted clothing to put up on your person. But while the boots and the wristbands will probably be similar to what we see Goku wear, the t-shirt will not, because I do not think a material exists on Earth that is dense enough.
Right.
I'm going to assume that if Goku's boots were each 20 kilograms and his wristbands were probably also around 20 kilograms just to have everything balanced, which makes his shirt alone a solid 60 kilograms.
What the fuck?
Because Goku is my size, again, I know, ridiculous, but that's what the canon says, I measured my blue undershirt for the total surface area and the depth. And if you want the shirt to still be something like a shirt, I'm gonna assume that it is maybe 50% fabric and 50% whatever is adding all that mass.
Okay.
So divide 60 kilograms by half the volume of the t-shirt, and you find that to be the correct mass, whatever is making Goku's t-shirt so heavy has to be at least a third as dense as the core of the sun. And even if you assume that the t-shirt is 100% exotic material, it would still have to be denser than the densest known natural substance on Earth.
Okay, hold on. I lost a video and I'm trying to find it. Crisis averted, ChavezzSlovakia. Play.
Osmium to put the correct Ginyu force on you. So we probably can't make Goku's special t-shirt, but you can still buy a more conspicuous weight vest and ankle and wrist weights. So is there a super benefit to wearing weighted clothes all the time?
Please tell me.
That is surprisingly difficult to say. Do any kind of online search for the efficacy of weighted clothing and you will run right into the multi-billion-dollar marketing machine that is personal weight loss and fitness.
Right.
You will have to deflect meaningless personal anecdotes, obviously paid for product reviews, and conflicting information from fitness experts. But if you can make it through all that, there are some scientific studies that we can scan.
I was about to say, it's actually not that hard. If it sounds too flowery, it's bullshit. That's all you need to know. It's not that it's bullshit, it just means that it's irrelevant to your experience. Because that part is going to be completely subjective from person to person. So you just need to find the parts. And that's where you figure out that each thing that people say actually has very minimal benefit generally, right? So
they number much fewer than, you know. A rudimentary search that I did turned up just 6. The studies that I could find evaluated wearing a weighted vest all of the time, like Goku might, across a number of weeks, testing participants on a number of agility-based tasks like running, sprinting, jumping, and push-ups. Now, if living, training, and fighting in weighted clothing all the time and then removing it could seriously increase your power level, then you would expect large effects in these studies. But the results are incredibly underwhelming. Both the sprinting and running times decreased by less than a second within a margin of error. The number of push-ups that a person could do after training in a weight vest for weeks all of the time increased by less than 10. Their vertical leap increased by just 10 centimeters or under 4 inches. One of the authors of one of these studies, smart boy Timo Rantalainen, no, it needs to, that's better, concluded this way. The effectiveness of wearing a weighted vest all the time and training in it is only good for slight improvements in agility, and because the effects are so small, you should only be wearing weighted clothing during training and not all of the time. These studies examined weight vests specifically, and so minor gains in leg and core strength make sense. What hypergravity training effectively does is increase your weight as though you were standing on a planet with a higher surface gravity. And so if you were walking around with a weighted vest, your legs and your core would have to provide more force in opposition to the reactionary force the Earth is putting on you from standing on it. And that increased force is bound to build up your lower muscles at least a bit. Right now, the force in your legs is the only thing keeping the Earth from crumbling you against itself. Oh no!
Oh, please,
wait,
not.
No, he's fine.
Okay.
He's always fine. If wearing a weighted t-shirt is likely only minorly beneficial some of the time, what about wearing ankle and wrist weights like
Yeah, this is looking to be good, bro. This is shaping up to be good. It sounds bad now, but I think the ending is gonna be good.
What did I say, Krillin? Huh? You want this again? Sorting out the efficacy of ankle and wrist weights is even more difficult than it is for weight vests. I could not find any applicable studies, but what I did find were numerous internet threads, quotes from doctors, and anecdotes from martial artists. Now, anecdotes are not data, but at least everything that I found said exactly the same thing. Wearing ankle and wrist weights all the time, especially if you are kicking and punching like Goku, is a bad idea. The reasoning behind this is actually pretty simple. Rotational force, or torque, is equal to force multiplied by perpendicular distance. And so if you are weighting down the ends of your limbs, it's going to create large rotational forces at the pivot points of your body. And so if you are trying to normally kick and punch like Goku, except with weighted limbs, you are likely to dangerously overload your muscles, ligaments, and tendons with rotational forces they aren't used to, using weight-compensated techniques that they are not familiar with. So if wrist and ankle weights are likely to be good for anything in martial arts training, they're going to be good for slow, deliberate movements against gravity, so that you are creating real resistance in your muscles and not just dangerous torque. But that kind of training is just normal strength training. And so
God damn it, I was wrong.
Thing that I could find says that if you're going to use wrist and ankle weights Goku style, you should either be supremely careful and not walk, jump, run, kick around like Goku does, or don't use them at all.
Right.
I warned you. And keep in mind, almost all of the weighted clothing that we have evaluated so far have weighed less than 10% of the body weight of the user. Goku's weighted clothing was well over 100% of his body weight, like he lived on the surface of Jup Jup. And so these proportions would only exacerbate all of the problems that come along with wearing weighted clothing all of the time. Look, I am not saying that weighted clothing has no value. Here I am on a rock wall with a weight vest weighing 20% of my body weight, so I must think that it can be beneficial. What I am saying is that weighted clothing has very narrow value, not general value like Goku and Piccolo and the other DBZ characters get. And it can come along, especially when you increase the weight, with a lot of dangerous downsides. In an attempt to show just how obesity can stress the human body, this fitness dude put on about the same amount of weight that Goku's weighted clothes have, and he almost died while trying to walk just a few kilometers. So, for the sake of training and increasing your power level, should you be wearing weighted clothing all the time like Goku? I don't think so. Not only have scientific studies not found any major benefits, wearing wrist and ankle weights all the time has a serious potential to injure you and change your gait and your balance enough that what you gain is joint pain, not brawly bashing muscle. And if all that wasn't enough, removing all of that clothing is not going to instantly make you stronger. If anything, it's just going to remind you what fighting normally felt like with whatever power you had remaining. Ki ain't free. Because science.
Great video though. Actually fucking spectacular. Because science. Again, amazing. Actual science. Actual video games. And amazing. So we'll see you in the next one. Don't walk around with your weighted clothes. We will outro with watching the scene of Goku removing his weighted clothes during the fight with Tien. That moment when you realize how useless fucking Tien was.
But we both know I'll win.
Fucking useless. Tien was my favorite character until this point. Deadass. Because I watched all of Dragon Ball.
It should be interesting.
So they hyping it up and shit too. I don't even know what's going to be in there, which is why I'm not really talking that much. This is probably not even going to be in. Now, of course, he is a Saiyan, right? He's not from this earth. He can probably get away with doing a lot more crazy shit. Because you know how they talk about every time he almost dies, he comes back stronger and that type of stuff. So it actually seems like really extremely dangerous training like this for him would make a whole lot of sense. Killing himself. That's it. Alright, man. I'll see you guys in the next one. ChavezzSlovakia. Thanks for chilling. Peace.
Crocs, 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 Crocs. Crocs, 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 Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. Wearing Crocs, boy. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. I'm rocking Crocs. Wearing Crocs, boy. My Crocs are gold. My pops is old. My Crocs got soul. My Crocs are bold. I go to church wearing Crocs. I'm always turned, wearing Crocs. My Crocs are great, your Crocs are lame. With my Crocs, I can cross a lake. Crocs, 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 Crocs.